Last summer, I lost my golden retriever Max for 3 hours in the woods. Well, it was the most terrifying afternoon of my life. I had bought a cheap tracker, but the battery died right when I needed it most. Finding the right GPS collar is incredibly frustrating because the market is absolutely flooded with junk that drops signal or drains power in hours. Today, I am breaking down the 6 best dog GPS collars that actually work, so you never have to panic like I did. 6. Tractive Smart Dog GPS Tracker. I really wanted to love this one when I first strapped it onto Max. It is super lightweight and clips right onto your existing collar, which feels very convenient right out of the box. The app interface is pretty straightforward and gives you a nice overview of your dog's daily activity levels. The live tracking feature does work fairly well when you have a perfectly clear sky. You can pull up your phone and watch your dog's little icon move around the neighborhood. It also tracks their sleep and calories burned, which is kind of a fun bonus if you are into dog fitness. But here's where things get a bit frustrating: the geofencing feature. Well, it is just not very reliable in my experience. I set up a safe zone around my yard, and sometimes the alert would hit my phone a good 5 minutes after Max had already wandered down the street. That delay is honestly a huge deal if you live near a busy road. Then there's the battery life. Tractive claims it lasts for several days, but I found myself plugging it in almost every single night just to be safe. If your dog is really active, or if you live in an area with spotty cell service, the battery just drains incredibly fast. The Tractive is that it's an okay entry-level option if you just want to monitor activity. 5. PetSafe Guardian GPS 2.0 Dog Fence. Now this one takes a different approach because it is actually designed as a full wireless containment system rather than just a simple tracker. I spent a good weekend testing this out, and setting up the custom boundaries on my phone was surprisingly easy. You can store up to 50 different fences, which sounds amazing if you travel a lot with your dog. The collar itself uses tone, vibration, and static correction to keep your dog inside the invisible boundary. I tested the warning tones, and they are definitely loud enough to get a distracted dog's attention. It is also completely waterproof, so you do not have to panic if your dog decides to go for a random swim in the muddy creek behind your house. Well, here's the catch though. The collar is really bulky. I put it on a medium-sized dog, and it looked like he was wearing a heavy necklace. And frankly, the correction system can be a bit inconsistent. There were times when the warning tone would trigger even when my dog was still a good 10 feet away from the boundary line we drew. The GPS tracking also gave me some anxiety. PetSafe uses dual-frequency GPS, but I noticed that dense tree coverage really messes with the signal. If you have a lot of tall trees in your yard, the boundary lines seem to shift slightly on their own, which means your dog might get corrected for standing in a spot that was perfectly safe yesterday. 4Fi New Series 3 Plus Smart Dog Tracker Collar. Let me tell you, this is where things start getting really good. The very first thing you notice about the Fi collar is the design. It is incredibly sleek, and the tracking unit is built directly into the collar band itself, so nothing's dangling or getting caught on branches. I have to say the health and activity tracking on this device is absolutely fantastic. It uses AI to monitor how much your dog sleeps, and it even tracks behavioral changes, like excessive scratching. It was actually fascinating to check the app and see exactly how many hours of deep sleep my dog was getting while I was away. The battery life is where Fi really shines. They claim it can last up to 3 months, and while my testing showed it closer to 2 months with active tracking, that is still ridiculously impressive. You just drop the collar on the little base station to charge it, and you almost never have to worry about it dying during a long hike. You also get this really cool community aspect built into the app. You can compare your dog's step count with other dogs of the same breed across the country. Plus, if your dog ever does go missing, there is a lost dog mode that pulses a red LED light on the collar and updates the location every minute. Honestly, the Fi Series 3 Plus is a fantastic everyday collar for the modern pet owner. 3. SpotOn GPS wireless dog fence collar. Now, if you have a massive property or you love taking your dog off-grid, this thing is an absolute game changer. I was honestly blown away by how advanced the satellite technology is inside this collar. It taps into a huge network of GPS satellites to create boundaries that are accurate down to a few feet. Setting up a fence with SpotOn is like drawing on a digital canvas. You just open the app and drop pins on the map to create any shape you want. I created a custom boundary that wrapped perfectly around my garden to keep my dog out of the tomato plants, and it worked flawlessly. It uses tones and vibrations to warn your dog before they cross the line. What really impressed me was how well it held a signal in tough environments. Unlike some of the earlier models we talked about, SpotOn does not get easily confused by trees or cloudy days. I tested it in a heavily wooded area, and the boundary remained completely stable, which gave me so much peace of mind. The collar itself is built like a tank, but still manages to be quite comfortable for the dog. It has a really durable strap, and the main unit sits nicely on the back of the neck. You do not need a cellular subscription to use the basic fencing features, which is a huge money saver over time. 2. PetLocate Dog GPS Tracker for dogs. You know, sometimes you find a product that just perfectly balances affordability with high-end features, and this is exactly that. Right out of the box, I noticed how incredibly light it is. It weighs just a few ounces, so even smaller dogs barely notice it is there. The real magic of the PetLocate is the global tracking capability. It comes with an embedded SIM card that connects to multiple cellular networks automatically. I actually tested this on a road trip across state lines, and the live tracking never dropped a single beat. It updates location rapidly, so you always know exactly where your furry friend is heading. Durability is another huge win here. It has an IP67 waterproof rating, which means it can handle absolute downpours and deep mud puddles without shorting out. I let my dog run completely wild through some heavy rain, and the tracker just brushed it off like nothing happened. The build quality feels really solid for the price point. I also loved their geofencing feature. You can easily set up virtual safe zones around your house or the local park. The moment my dog stepped a toe outside the invisible circle, I got an instant notification on my phone. And the battery life is fantastic, giving you up to 2 weeks on a single charge, so you're not constantly tied to an outlet. Halo Collar 5. This collar is an absolute masterpiece of pet technology. They have completely redesigned this 5th-generation model, and it fixes literally every issue you could possibly have with other smart collars. It is smaller, smarter, and faster. The biggest upgrade here is the continuous location monitoring. Most trackers go to sleep to save battery, but the Halo Collar 5 is always listening. It analyzes 20 location updates every single second. When my dog made a sudden sprint toward the edge of the yard, the collar reacted instantly to deliver the warning tone. There is zero delay, and that instant response is what actually keeps your dog safe. The training system built into this collar is on another level. It was developed with dog behaviorist Cesar Millan, and the app actually teaches you how to train your dog to understand the boundaries. It is not just shocking your dog blindly. You have custom feedback options like gentle tones, vibrations, and static if needed. I really appreciated how humane and educational the whole process felt. They also nailed the hardware. It uses a new dedicated Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip, so the connection to your phone is bulletproof even in areas with bad signal. The battery easily lasts a solid 48 hours of constant heavy tracking, and it charges fully in just 1 hour. Final thought. That's all for today, folks.